Hey guys, today I'm out here in Arizona taking a look at the all-new Dodge Charger. This is the latest evolution of the Dodge brand and certainly the future for Dodge as well, because they're diving into inline 6 turbo engines and of course full electric vehicles, and everything is going to be called Charger. Yep, Challenger has been replaced by Charger. Charger is being replaced by the new 5-door Charger. But let's take a look at the Challenger so you can see exactly how they compare here. Interestingly, the new Charger is significantly bigger than the Challenger was, but you can see that they are definitely different kinds of retro. The Challenger has much more of a classic muscle car kink back here in the rear, whereas we get a little bit more of an elegant style line, I would say, in the new Charger right there. In terms of length, the new Charger is 206.6 inches long, definitely significantly longer than this Challenger here. Both are instantly recognizable as a Dodge. This has that sort of eyebrow kind of shadowy front end. This one is of course owned by Radford Racing School, where we're out here driving the new Charger. Stay tuned for that video coming up soon. This one is the Scat Pack. You can see the very muscular hood there. The big tacked on fenders. Was never the biggest fan of that in the up-level Challengers. You can see that the design over here has definitely evolved to much more of an integrated design, where we find big meaty fenders. This is about 4 inches wider than the Challenger was, about 8 or so inches longer. And you can really see the difference here. The Charger's proportions are such that on first glance it looks like it might be lower to the ground than the Challenger. In reality, it's not, and it's just due to the length and the size of the vehicle. Up front, we have that very different front end look, and because this is the electric version of the Charger, we have the Aero wing up front as well. You can see that we have that very sleek front end design, but much more of a modern twist without the rounded headlight designs. Again, very well integrated fenders, no tacked on fender flares or anything like that. This particular model is the RT Stage 1, so we get 496 horsepower. There's also a Stage 2 with 640 horsepower and an over 800 horsepower Banshee coming at some point. Now the big difference, of course, between these is going to be that over here we have an actual trunk lid, and if I open this up, you can see the trunk is very 1970s in that it is much more of a drop-it-in trunk, whereas over here, if I hit this button, we have a power hatch, because this is going to be either a 3-door or a 5-door, depending on the version that you get. The 3-door is the one that's going to go on sale first. You should be able to get this in December or January. And if you want the 5-door model, that's happening a few months later. There's a significant advantage when it comes to cargo capacity, thanks to the hatch in the back and also cargo practicality. You can see that not only is the load-in height slightly lower here, but the distance between the bumper and your cargo area, that's also significantly smaller than over here, where you really had to lift stuff across the bumper. Maybe you could end up scratching that up. And then of course, that has a regular trunk lid, whereas this has a power hatch, the buttons over here. The interior, though, that is where we see really significant changes. Here's a refresh of the Challenger interior, kind of rubbery dashboard there, the 8-inch kind of square-ish infotainment system, analog gauges there, the big chunky steering wheel, and this one does have 5-point harnesses in it, as you can see back there with that big bar, but you can see the general seat design here, a really big chunky seat in this particular model. Now, if we go over to the new Charger, this has a very 21st century interior with new seat designs. This is the low-end seat design, so we have only 2-way adjustable lumbar here. You can get inflatable bolsters, extending thigh cushions, etc., seat heating and seat ventilation as well, and a really stylish modern theme here with a significant focus on the ambient lighting. Actually, the ambient lighting is really the defining characteristic of this interior, and it looks really cool in this model with this sort of waffly honeycomb texture on the doors. It really catches the ambient light in different ways depending on exactly what's going on, and of course that is color changeable. We get an absolutely enormous instrument cluster here. It's approximately 16 inches or so. It's really, really wide and long. We also get a head-up display there and an approximately 12-inch LCD infotainment system with, of course, Apple CarPlay and Android Auto support, USB-C ports down there, a new sort of pistol grip shifter, big cup holders. You can really see the ambient lighting from this angle and also as it wraps around the dashboard in that really interesting style. The steering wheel, that's a brand new design as well. It is somewhat reminiscent of the steering wheel we find in the Wagoneer and some of the other Stellantis products. Flat top and flat bottom there. And we have paddles on the back. They're calling these paddle shifters. They're regeneration paddles, so you adjust the regen braking with the paddle on that side and the paddle on the other side. This panel, or this button bank rather, controls the multifunction LCD cluster. We have the drive mode selectors there. You'll even get launch control in the Stage 2 model. Power shot button adds an extra 40 horsepower, and we have the latest adaptive cruise control with the lane centering software there as well. But one thing Dodge did not forget that really was quite popular with the Challenger is the size of the back seat. Just check out how big things are back there. I'll hop in so you can see what's going on. There is just a ton of headroom back here. You can see it's a really roomy back seat. It's really wide with 5 seat belts as well, and just absolutely gobs and gobs of legroom. This front seat's going back to a reclined position for me at 6 feet tall. You can see there's still plenty of room left. I can't sit in the back of this Challenger because of the 5-point harness. However, it is actually a little bit tighter than back there in the new Charger. So let me know what you think of the design. Are you happy with this interpretation of the retro with that kink up in the rear, or are you team Charger with the more modern 21st century lines? I have to say, I think that Dodge did a really great job creating a new EV and of course a new ICE vehicle for the 21st century, because you will be able to get 2 different versions of the 3-liter inline 6 under that hood starting mid-2025.